Welcome to Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show, brought to you by the great folks at COMC, Central Ozarks Medical Center, where your health is their mission. I am really excited about today's show because this is the first time I've met Coach Parr Pitts. How's Coach today?
Doing good. I'm excited about being here. Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Inviting me.
Yeah. So if you hadn't heard, there's been a change of head coaches at Camdenton High School. After 50 years of Bob Shore and Jeff Shore, Jeff retired and Coach Parr Pitts takes over, right? So welcome to all the pressure of being head coach of Camdenton.
Yeah, it's a blessing to have that pressure because, our community, our kids have such high expectations for Laker football. And so, I'm embracing that and just feel very lucky and blessed to be able to coach here.
Yeah, it comes with a little pressure, I'm guessing too, right? But you're embracing that and all that goes with that.
Yeah, when you get in the coaching business, it's competitive and you're being tested every Friday night. And so you have to do everything you can to prepare for those tests and then be prepared when it's there.
Yeah. So did you know this was coming? Because you've been an assistant at Camdenton for 9 years. Did you know you were going to take over, or did you had to apply for the job, interview for the job, do all that stuff?
Yeah, there was an application process and a series of interviews. They opened it up, statewide, Midwest-wide, and so yeah, it was a process, which is the best way to do those sort of things in hiring, just to make sure that it's the right fit.
Yeah.
And so being here gave me some insight on where our program was and the very best parts of our program and the areas that we can definitely improve on.
Yeah, absolutely. You won you went to a state championship as a head coach elsewhere,
right?
And yet you decided to come here as an assistant coach 9 years ago. Why? I mean, that's almost like a step down. Why would you make that choice?
Well, my sons were in high school,
yeah.
And one son was going to be an eighth grader when we moved here, and another son was going to be a junior. And I really wanted both of them to play Laker football. I graduated from Camdenton and got the opportunity to play.
Yeah.
And was on the co-state champion in 1986. I was a part of that team, and so it's such a big part of my development. It had such a positive impact on me. I wanted my sons to experience that, and so it was definitely. I don't look at it necessarily as a step down, but less responsibility, which is part of it. But it was also a chance to get back to this community. I'd been away really since 1987, and so it was a chance to come back and be at home and let my kids, my daughter actually graduated from Camdenton as well, so everybody to become Lakers.
Right,
yeah.
It's all in the family, man. And you mentioned it as a player for Camdenton, for Coach Bob Shore, I believe. You won 2 state championships.
Well, I was only on the first one.
Oh, you were only on the first one?
I graduated. Yeah, that was my senior year when we played Marshall. And so in my little bio, somehow that got in there. But I was at the game in 1987, but I wasn't a part of that team. But, I was on that, from the time I was about 5 years old when we moved to the community from Independence. I wanted to play Laker football. And at that time, I was actually in the Max Creek School District, but it had that big of a draw that I wanted to be a part of it, and we would attend games as I was growing up, and then finally were able to move to the district and get an opportunity to play.
So what position did you play?
I played offensive line.
Uh-huh.
I was one of Pappy's Hogs. I played right guard, actually, and my son that's coaching, Parker, actually played the same position with the same number, and then my other son played tackle, but he had the same number as well. So we were very very fortunate to have that sort of legacy. That number had been passed down.
Okay, so you were on the co-state championship team. That was 86?
Yes.
Okay, and I think Bob was telling me the story of they just ran out of time. They didn't have time to go overtime or something that game, so they just decided we're going to share the championship that year.
Yeah,
right?
That was a rule. That was really in the playoffs, that was the only time you could tie. There were ties outside in the regular season. You could have ties, but at that time, and there's been, I think, 8 tied state championship games in Missouri. There, John Burroughs, I believe, tied twice.
Really?
They were tied in the state championship game twice. So yeah, at that time, very devastating. Neither team was happy, but in the long run, we both had the opportunity to say we had undefeated seasons, and it was a super exciting game. We scored with like less than 2 minutes to go on a 2-point conversion to tie that game, and then they had a big play and drove it down to about the 1, and time ran out, and so it was super exciting, and it was a great opportunity.
Wow. Those memories never leave, do they?
They don't.
And it's kind of cool, the circle of life. Now you're helping make those memories for your kids, your players, and all of that. That's pretty special. So when you were playing for Coach Bob Shore, winning state championship and stuff, did you know you wanted to be a coach?
I did. I wanted to be a coach really from the time I was probably 12, and I got to be around some coaches and some football program, and I thought, what a better place than get paid to play and to do all those things. So I have been, had that desire to be a coach and to be a football coach from that time on. And so it's led me to a lot of different places around the state and a lot of opportunities to learn and to get in there and, just try to create something. Really, it's based on my experience as a player. I want to give our players and our program the same experience that I had from the coaches that mentored me and molded me and sort of believed in me before I believed in myself. So that's kind of been our goal all along, for sure.
The power of coaching is unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, especially in today's society with the breakup of the family and stuff like that. A lot of coaches are parental figures. There's a lot of power there. We are talking with a new head football coach at Camdenton. It is Coach Par Pitts. We'll have more with Coach Pitts right after this. If you love the lake, you gotta love Lake TV. At COMC, your health is our mission. Central Ozarks Medical Center is growing in our community with a new dental location to serve you in Eldon and a new location in Loring. COMC also makes your children a priority with a mobile dental unit serving schools in rural areas where access can be a challenge. COMC also offers OBGYN, sports medicine, pediatric, and behavioral health care. Get more info on how COMC can help you at centralozarks.org. COMC, where your health is our mission. If it's happening at the lake, it's happening on Lake TV. From the polar plunge to festivals, parades, aquapalooza, and boat shows, Lake TV has it all. Even the granddaddy of them all, the shootouts. If you're looking for places to party, things to do, or even a new home to move into, you've gotta love Lake TV. Welcome back to Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show, brought to you by the great folks at COMC, Central Ozarks Medical Center. We're with new football coach at Camdenton of the Lakers. It is Coach Par Pitts. So I got to ask you about your name, Par. Where does Par come from? What? That's just, I've never heard that before.
Well, it's kind of unique. It's not even my legal name, but there's nobody really in the world that knows me by my legal name, Lee.
Okay.
But when I was born in 1969, Parnelli Jones was a big-time IndyCar racer, and my parents were into sprint car racing, building, driving, and sort of we were in that community. And so I was Parnelli from that when I was born, all the way through, and I knew I was in trouble when my mom would say Parnelli Pitts. I knew that was when I was really in trouble. She would never call me by my legal name. And so I graduated high school as Par, and I got married as Par. I mean, that's my name. And so then when I had the opportunity to name my children, I named Parker, just so he had the real chance to have a real name that would be Par, but he's chosen Parker and it fits him well. So
it's funny because I asked one of your childhood friends, I said, where does the name Par come from? He's like, I don't know, I've never asked him. You know, somebody that's known you their whole life and they didn't know. So I thought that was pretty fascinating. Now, your family is pretty ingrained into the Camdenton area. Your wife is a fourth grade teacher, I think, and you'd mentioned your son is a teacher and a coach, and so they're pretty invested in the community.
Very much, yeah. My wife teaches at Hawthorne Elementary, and just is an inspiration to me, the amount of effort that she puts in building a community in her class. And then my son actually moved away and taught in Northeast Missouri last year, and then had the opportunity to come back and coach freshman football and middle school track and teaching social studies. And then my middle son, Camden, is going to school to be a teacher as well.
Wow.
So I think that would be his goal, is to come back and teach as well.
They all want to be a chip off the block here, man. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, sort of the family business, maybe.
Yeah. That is pretty great. So we mentioned it a while ago. You've been an assistant at Camdenton for 9 years. Before that, you established yourself as a very good head coach in your own right. Let's see, you were at Palmyra, Odessa, and Troy, I believe, right?
Yep.
And you took one of those teams to the state championship.
Yeah, in Palmyra, we were fortunate enough to go to the state championship in St. Louis. It was played in the Dome at that time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we didn't win that game, but it was a great experience and something that you never forget. Taking a team in that situation, we lost early in the year and had to come back and beat that same team, and then got on a roll and made it to the championship. So we felt like we were the public school champions that year. We lost to St. Pius, which is out of Kansas City, and so they're a private school, had a great season, great team that year.
That's a strange thing here in Missouri that I haven't seen. I'm sure it's in other states, but not in the states I've been in, where you have those private schools who can kind of go out and recruit who they want to recruit. They're tough to beat, man.
They are. There's those programs really have a strong tradition, and they really do a good job of having kids that really want to play. You know, and so it's a unique situation.
But it's kind of cool that you were able to do that before coming back to Camdenton as an assistant. That you kind of proved yourself, and I'm guessing that helped a lot when you went up for to take over as the Lakers head coach. That you had proved yourself as a head coach before.
Yeah, I think having been a head coach for 16 seasons, gave me some experiences that you really need to go in and try to tackle all the duties and all the things that you have to do to get your football team on the field on Friday to be successful. That definitely helped. And then having to go out and sort of learn things on my own, trying to replicate what I experienced as a player here, and trying to take those lessons and build them elsewhere was definitely a fun time for me, and it was I was probably unique in the pool of candidates.
Yeah, I'm guessing so. So what kind of a game do you like to play? We saw under Jeff Shore, he kind of changed the offense from the old run game to a wild passing game, which was very successful. So what kind of a game do you like? Are you going to go back to the run game? Are you going to do the crazy pass game? It's going to be a hybrid?
Yeah, I think it'll be a sort of a hybrid. We will have a back in the backfield. We'll be able to run the ball effectively. We'll be able to throw the ball. I think we can take the best things from what we've done over the last 5 years in the passing game and sort of marry that with a solid run game, so that you can, there's so many things you can do with the running game. When I got hired for my very first head coaching job, I said, running the ball is the way we're going to win, because 3 things can happen when you throw it, and 2 of them are bad.
Yeah.
I remember saying that in an interview. But then I've embraced the passing game, because it's one of those things that it sort of evens the field when you're playing somebody that maybe is stronger or has much more size, and you can't run the ball. You have to be able to throw it. So I've learned those lessons sort of the hard way. But I know we have to be balanced, and really it boils down to taking advantage of the talents of your players and getting the players that can score touchdowns, the ball on offense, and then getting the guys that can track the ball down on defense and putting them in a position to be successful.
Yeah, and part of it is just making the kids tough, right? Because football's a tough game, and you've got to be tough to go out there, take those hits, be willing to do that. And so I guess that's part of what a football coach does, right?
Yeah, you have to get yourself prepared. So right now we're preparing to be strong and durable and faster, so that we can go on and take on those demands of, it looks like if you can get all the way to the championship, it's about a 15-game season, which is, very strenuous on high school kids. So that's our goal right now, is to get those guys, prepared to be able to go and take the demands of what we see in the summer and then what we take into the fall.
Absolutely. There he is, new coach of the Camdenton Lakers, Coach Parr Pitts. Thank you for coming by.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.